You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA. You know ID in the town all day. ID in the SEA.
Hello and welcome to episode 500.
Hello!
Of the fabulous Peltoncast, sponsored by our friends at Pagliacci Pizza. I am your co-host, Kevin Pelton.
And I am Tristan Carasino.
And for the 500th time, not all 500 times, but we are coming to you from separate
500
locations. I'm in Seattle, Washington, home of the AL West champion, Seattle Mariners, but
And
no
I
more
am
switch pitchers.
Coming to you from Renton, Washington, home of the Super Bowl 48 and Super Bowl 60 participant,
Okay.
Seattle Seahawks. Welcome to episode 500.
It's kind of amazing we made it.
Hold on. In Super Bowl terms, do you know what that is? That is Super Bowl D, as in the grade that most people would give this podcast, or as in Drake May sucks. So here we are. It is Peltoncast D. This isn't the compilation show. This is the real thing. Run down and all get ready to hear about Obed Vargas, baby, because the Super Bowl is happening, and we're going to spend a long time talking about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of roundup today. Mostly going to talk about UW men's basketball.
Hello.
Your favorite sport. Do you have a current updated?
Zoom Diallo.
Do you have an updated rankings? I remember a few weeks ago there were the rankings where UW men's basketball may have been on top, and the Blazers and the Kraken were in there. I don't think
favorite
the Seahawks.
Sports? No, I think the Seahawks might have been number one. Well, there's another team that we can't talk about right now. But the UW men's basketball is very high. The Mariners are number one. Do you know where I'm going tomorrow night? You wouldn't have to be capital B dumb to know what I'm hinting at here, but
where you're going to the UW game against Iowa?
Edmondson Pavilion, baby. Wow. Bring on Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it the night before the trade deadline.
I told Luca, he was like, is Al coming? And I was like, yeah, I know he's fired up there. He was like, is Uncle Al coming? And I was like, it's the night before the trade deadline. I'm sure he's not. He does not need to see the 23-year-old fifth-year white guy that Iowa has as their star.
I mean, I discovered it. I invented it.
Oh, you did. You were trying to tell me about that earlier.
Yes.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
Basketball players don't exist until ESPN senior writer Kevin Pelton has discovered them.
I mean, you're not as avid a listener to the Hoop Collective podcast as I am, so you don't know the ongoing joke that Wendy discovered both Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
So
is that a joke?
Yes. They were very famous basketball prospects long before Wendy started talking about them.
See, this is the annoying thing about it. You should take credit for this. It's like Wendy saying that he discovered them. You called Jokic when Jokic wasn't like number one.
I still wouldn't.
Chet Holmgren was in high school in America. I
still wouldn't claim discovering Jokic. Somebody in Serbia discovered Jokic.
Oh, but this player from Iowa, you would claim.
Well, he's in the
and
US.
Reed Shepherd for some reason.
Yes. No one had heard of this guy, famous son of two parents who played at Kentucky, before I put him number one in the draft rankings. It's truly.
Where was Chet Holmgren as a high school recruit? He was like number one in the country, was he not?
Oh, I'm sure he was. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked it up specifically, but no doubt.
Well, Wendy did it.
He doesn't actually claim this. It's just a funny joke. That's the point. Anyways, it is our 500th episode. It is an episode 12 and a half years in the making. We first recorded this podcast in September 2013. It was at the beginning of the first Seahawks Super Bowl run during this podcast era.
Finish that.
It was the year after I last worked for the Seattle Storm. So like it has been a long time.
Seattle Storm?
I did. Yes, it's a true story. You can sort of see this.
What we did is we started at episode 500. A lot of geniuses don't do this. You know, we started at episode 500, knowing it would coincide with the Seahawks' third trip to the Super Bowl during that time period. And we just worked our way backwards. And so we were like, we'll start exactly here, because when we get to 500 episodes, plus a long break in the middle.
Yeah, the hiatus was well planned.
Plus a hiatus, we will be at exactly 500 the week the Seahawks play in the Super Bowl for the fourth time ever.
This is why I had to go on European vacations each of the last 2 Octobers. So you're welcome.
Yes. Well planned.
Would have
Well
timed out
timed and
otherwise.
well planned.
To keep it, you want to have
You
the
didn't
milestone.
get to storm the field with us in the Michigan game, but we got to 500 at Super Bowl LX.
As you know, I would not have stormed the field anyway.
We would have looked back at you sternly standing with your arms crossed.
Super Bowl LX.
That would have been a good photo to have also, though.
I mean, I don't dispute that. Yeah. So
and do you know what will be when
I also
we
timed
get
this
to Super Bowl D?
What's that?
All dead. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Good point. I also timed this well because you want to keep the milestone episodes the week of the NBA trade deadline, especially when there are 4 trades on the Tuesday of that week.
Work backward from that too. We were like James Harden. He'll be on like his 8th team at that point.
Did you see? I mean, I know you didn't. You're not really on social media anymore. But my ESPN colleagues, Bobby Marks, listed the 3 teams that still have outstanding trades or draft picks from James Harden trades still out there. And Cleveland will now be the 4th.
Wow.
So wild stuff. Check out those trade grades on ESPN.com through Thursday's deadline.
Sure.
I can't plug my own trade grades. Do you have any other thoughts on through Thursday's deadline? Do you have any other thoughts on the 500th episode, this milestone?
Nope.
I might drop it. That's the kind of podcasting that has kept us going for 12 and a half years and counting.
Well, I would say it was easy to do, but it wasn't. The weight. Are you familiar with Atlas?
You should say it was easy to do. You didn't do any of the editing. You didn't do any of the notes. Every once in a while, you write the hot takes and you claim it as a hardship.
Are you aware of Atlas? The world on his shoulders.
I'm familiar.
And I'm here having to carry this podcast on my back for now the 500th time. But if we're being honest, it's probably about 600 with emergency podcasts.
I believe the famous. I mean, that's true. It's our 500th weekly episode, but there are like easily 600 total. I believe for a long time the famous cousin Katie was carrying this podcast in the minds of the MVP voters. You have no comment.
I think we should take the MVP voting back from the states, and I should be permanent MVP.
No. Oh dear. Yeah. So
we'll see if that happens.
500. All right. This week we are also toasting to the 2001 Mariners.
Hello.
Won.
Oh, the 2001 Mariners.
Entitled them to 2 statues, depending how you count Edgar's. But I think we're counting it as part of the 95 contingent along with Ken Griffey Jr. at this point, and whose 116 win regular season the team announced will be commemorated.
Oh, also Ichiro is getting a statue too. So
yeah, that's going to be the 2.
Oh, we're counting Edgar as part of the
95.
Yeah. Maybe the Ichiro statue is for that 2004 season.
It is.
But they didn't win. I looked at the stats.
They didn't win one playoff series.
Objectively conclude that it would be for the 2004 season, because why would you make a statue for any other season?
As you know, anytime the Mariners win a playoff series, it means 2 statues. So get ready.
Buckle
Jorge
up.
Polanco statue is coming circa 2040.
Buckle up. Derek's Google in shambles.
I hope we're here to do that bold prediction.
Let's make sure we never forget the 2001 Mariners.
The 116 win regular season will be commemorated with a statue that highlights their AL West clinching win in the wake of the 9/11 tragedy, which the team celebrated by parading an American flag around the field.
Oh, there we go. So it's going to be of the team with the American flag.
That's my understanding.
I love the executives who met about this who were like, we have to celebrate 2001, right? And they were like, yes, 2001. We are celebrating everything that happened in 2001. And then somebody was like, nothing else happened that year, right? And they were like, it feels a little glib to be like, 2001 was an amazing year. And they were like, we know what to do.
If you're going to do a group statue, that was sort of the moment that, of course, the whole team was on the field. And it was a very emotional time in the wake of 9/11. And, it was wholly appropriate for the moment, I think, the Mariners celebration. So there you go. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, how much room is there for statues right now?
That's a great question.
The Mariners haven't achieved anything yet. So And they just added a very important player to the roster. There might be 5 or 6 statues of him soon.
I think those are mostly going to be in St. Louis.
All the different positions that he plays, who knows, right? So when they actually achieve something, like what are we talking, 10 statues per player at that point?
It's a great question. It's like the Blazers retiring jerseys, which granted, most of their retired jerseys are players who played for their championship team.
Hey, nobody's complaining about that Duop Wraith retired jersey.
Oh, farewell, Duop. We hardly knew they.
I'm going to get a commemorative Rayan Rupert jersey, though, when they retire his.
In the PDX carpet?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever been in the Portland airport?
Not a single time, but I am still nostalgic for it. I swear to God.
Amazing.
I have never once stepped foot in PDX because why would I do that?
I mean, I have flown out of PDX twice. Once to meet you, as a matter of fact.
Who would ever step foot in such a second-rate city's airport? But there still are Blazers. Airport. My feelings about Portland are complicated.
It is always. All right. Also this week, congrats to the Kraken's Jared McCann, who was named one of the NHL's 3 stars of the week. McCann had 4 goals and 3 assists in the Kraken's 3 games, all victories. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, we've got the return of our Seattle food update because it is officially in February. Little Woody's Seattle Burger Month, which started on Tuesday. So I don't yet have a review. My plan is to go get this burger on Thursday after I get through the NBA trade deadline. This week is the Christina's Yesler Umami Burger, which has Wagyu beef patty mixed with bone marrow butter, Yoka miso caramelized onions, sauteed maitake mushrooms, shiso leaves, Tillamook sharp white cheddar, wasabi aioli, sesame oil glazed Little Woody's bun. This sounds outstanding.
You named all the things.
I did.
You just kept naming things. And honestly, I was down for all of them. Ooh. I had no complaints about any of them.
You kept Naughty along.
Yeah.
It was like
you had me at aioli.
Next week, we have the $T$ burger from Taylor Thornhill of Ciudad. The week of 2/17, we've got the Hanbega from Yasuaki Saito of St. Bread. And I wrote down St. Bread. It's Wayland Mill is what it officially is, which is the new restaurant. And then the week of 2/24, we've got the Cafe Glazed Burger from Trin and Tai Win of Ramey. So very excited. Always one of my favorite months, Seattle Burger Month. All right. It turns out, in addition to commemorating 500 episodes, we also have the return of your favorite segment.
Don't burn yourself. We got Mariners hot takes coming at you.
You know, the Mariners of 2025, they had a good run. They achieved the absolute most you could expect from a team such as theirs. Flashy, with their crazy hair, players who made us want to pull up tough because you noticed that butt was stuffed. They were even so flashy, they decided they didn't need to pitch in 2025. Figured they would do it all with their hot new torpedo bats, and look where that combo of hot shot hitting and torpedo bats got you, bub. Couldn't even make it to the World Series for the first time ever. Pathetic. Well, there's a new daddy in town, a disciplined daddy. And this one comes with a new style of play the Mariners just got: grit. In walks 210 pounds of All-American, German, actually, beef. Brendan Donovan is bringing grit back to these boys. A 5-tool gritter. He plays whatever position you need him to and says, "Thank you, ma'am," whenever you tell him to go there. Raised in Alabama, where all they do is eat grit for breakfast, and developed in the heartland of grit itself, St. Louis, Missouri. He doesn't strike out because that wouldn't be gritty. He doesn't hit homers because he can't grit while trotting around the base paths. And he doesn't steal bases because his big gritty balls are weighing him down. So going into the 2026 season, you may have had expectations for a second baseman or a shortstop or a third baseman or a left fielder. Well, why not have them all? Because if you can't play one position well, why not play all of them? Yeah, sure, he's basically Dylan Moore with long hair and a 5 o'clock shadow, but look at how gritty that goddamn shadow is.
I want to be clear that Brendan Donovan never asked for any of this. He's just out there playing baseball, living his life, man.
Oh, I don't know about that. He's gritting his way all around the ball field.
The thing is, he's not like Dylan Moore because he's good at hitting, which is a key difference.
He's fine.
I mean, he's been a
I
3-win player,
he,
approximately each of the last 2 seasons. Was an all-star last year. Dylan Moore, never an all-star. Believe it or
he
not.
gritted his way all the way to that All-Star game.
Okay.
I just like saying St. Louis, Missouri.
It sounds like a Simpsons joke, but I know the Simpsons joke is about not recognizing Missouri.
Oh, yeah, I'll be 6 feet in the cold, cold ground before I recognize Missouri.
First off, so we've talked about this on the pod previously because Brendan Donovan to the Mariners has been rumored for like 4 months now. Würzburg, also the home of Hannes Steinbach. So
Hello.
the Würzburg to Seattle pipeline is extremely strong.
Wait to be 3-8. But the schedule's getting better. The schedule is getting better.
It was a nice win. It was a nice win. You know who else is from Würzburg, Germany, and plays third base for your Seattle Mariners? Mike Blowers.
Oh my God!
This is really an amazing thing.
Sweating. I'm sweating. How have they not made him a statue yet?
How have they not? How did the Sonics not draft Dirk Nowitzki? Is the real question that you should be asking yourself right now, given this intense pipeline here. So Gino Suarez, prior to this, signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Reds, officially taking his return to the Mariners off the table. It does seem like that time is probably more. Oh, good point. Good point. It does seem like this time is more coincidental than it is actually like the Mariners were waiting him out, because Jerry Dipoto told reporters last week
they could have signed Gino anytime they wanted to.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. The idea is, like, were they waiting to make this trade until they found out for sure they weren't going to re-sign Gino? And Jerry Dipoto had already told reporters last week that there wasn't really room for Gino on the roster. Now, at that point, he was saying partially because Ben Williamson existed, and Ben Williamson is now a member of the Tampa Bay Rays, who contractually are obligated to participate in any Mariners trade. And therefore jumped.
They really worked him in there, didn't they? I didn't even think about that they worked the Rays in there.
It's like the Kings and the Bills.
No way that they could get the Diamondbacks involved too.
Good point. Good point. But the Mariners already got all the players they wanted for the Diamondbacks, I think.
Oh, we'll see. Look, players who've been long rumored to a team.
That's true. It's true. That's a fair point. But this does seem to take them out of the Ketel Marte market for now. So they sent, in addition to Williamson going to Tampa, they sent Drangelo Sanja and Ty Pete, the team's first-round picks in 2023 and 24, to St. Louis, along with a competitive balance B pick, which we hardly knew you. Competitive balance B pick.
It's fine. No, I actually think this is a good trade overall.
I was a little surprised how positive Fangraphs, my ESPN colleague David Schoenfield, gave them an A- for this trade, because it did feel like a little higher package than we were talking about at the beginning of the year when, Sanja, the fact that he was in this trade came as no surprise at all.
It is a little bit of like one of those things where you're like, yeah, these weren't great prospects. And granted, the Mariners have a very good farm system, so this is not even necessarily an insult. But like, it's their first round picks in back-to-back years. And if we're not that concerned about losing these players, maybe these weren't that good of first-round picks.
Probably not the ideal first-round picks. I mean, Sanja was a super hot prospect this time a year ago, had a bit of a disappointing season in Everett. And an interesting note about this, like, my big bummer was, well, I don't care how good he is, just having a switch pitcher is super fun. But apparently the Mariners didn't have a switch pitcher, because GM Justin Hollander said at FanFest last week that Sanja would be listed as a right-handed pitcher this spring and pitch only right-handed during games. He would still throw left-handed during bullpen sessions, but not at all during games.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, it's not now because he got traded.
Thank
so it doesn't
God
matter.
They traded him. Oh, if I would have had to see Drangelo Sanja not switch pitch, imagine how upset I would have been, knowing that he could be switch pitching and then all of a sudden was throwing with just his right hand. Come on.
Exactly. How disappointing. Donovan, you mentioned shortstop. I don't really think that's
I was just,
you were just riffing.
You don't like question hot takes.
You don't fact check hot takes.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons, he's mostly played second and then left field in those 2 seasons. Hasn't made double digits appearances at third since 2022, but does seem like probably the most likely outcome for him to start 2026, because we talked about this. We were both very close to making bold predictions about Cole Young's future and our optimism there about him at second.
Did we not?
I don't know. Maybe you did. I didn't. definitely
It's
thought
been
about
like a month and I've completely forgotten all of them.
Exactly. That's why it's so great, because then you get reminded of them in
One of
December.
them does come back in our Seahawks prop bets, though.
That's good. Colt Emerson also, in the mix potentially to start on the infield. If he proves capable of breaking camp with the team and starting at third base, then Donovan perhaps to right field, I guess, is a possibility here. Given Victor Robles is kind of the weakest offensive member of the Mariners starting lineup. But the key here is just like the versatility. And, I thought this was a good point in the Fangraphs breakdown. Let me go find that piece so I can properly credit the author there. That like every utility infielder gets compared to Ben Zobrist. It's like how every NBA player who's a wing who isn't like a shot creator, they call them a 3 and D, even if they're not good at 3 or D. And I do think that's sort of the case here where, oh, it's a guy who can play multiple positions, must be like Ben Zobrist, but uh, that Donovan's offensive production is actually kind of similar to Zobrist, has been.
But this time it is like Ben Zobrist. I compared him to Dylan Moore. I don't know about you, but
the other key part of this is Dylan Moore was a very good platoon player who was good against righties or against lefties, and there aren't as many of them as there are righties. And Brendan Donovan is a very good platoon player who is good against right-handed pitchers. So that's a positive there. The Fangraphs article, this was Ben Clemens, also compared him to Stephen Kwan in terms of his approach and production. I can't quite get there. You know my feelings about Stephen Kwan and bringing him to the Mariners. But, having a high average, high OBP player in the lineup is definitely a positive.
Yeah, he's just a pretty good Major League Baseball player. It's not going to radically change the team, but the subtraction of one of those hitters I guess mostly Ben Williamson, right? But maybe Victor Robles. Right. Subtracting one of those hitters and replacing them with Brendan Donovan, it's a pretty big upgrade overall. It's the type of player who I will remain skeptical. And I know that there's people out there who are basically like, don't worry about the park factor. I will always remain skeptical about any hitter hitting in Seattle, but also Ben Williamson wasn't that good of a hitter in Seattle either. So like,
you're right.
It's more like other I choose the evil that we know already rather than the evil that could be. So, and at the dollar amount and really the prospect amount, because Ben Williamson was probably never going to be, we'll see. I mean, who knows? Like prospects develop in radically different ways. There is a world that Ben Williamson is a good Major League Baseball player. I wouldn't be shocked by it. Senja, who knows? I mean, the fact that I do think people are a little bit allured because he was a switch pitcher. Ty Pete, we haven't heard that much about. And it's a little bit more of an afterthought in this. He still was a first-round pick, so I think should be considered at least a semi-important prospect. He was hovering like just outside of that top 10 within the Mariners organization.
Right.
But in a trade where they got a former All-Star, a reigning All-Star, and a competent Major League player, to not have given up basically anybody in your top 10 prospects organizationally, and anybody who really factored into the either short or long-term plans for the Mariners at the Major League level, I think that is probably a good trade. They're going to have to start making some moves too, because there's a reality that the Dodgers keep getting better. Like every year, like our conversation in the year-end podcast was basically like, the Mariners have to factor in some aggression. And I will tell you who's aware of that, and that is the Mariners front office. They know that they have to be a better team in 2026 than they were in 2025. And right now, they might not be, at least before this Brendan Donovan trade.
Well, you know who's high on the Mariners while factoring in some regression?
Who is that?
Fangraphs.
Hello.
Whose initial projections for the 2026 season are out before the trade. They gave the Mariners the best playoff odds in the AL. They're now up to 78%.
The whole league.
Playoffs. Yeah.
The whole American League. Wow.
Because the AL East is so stacked that even though
all 5 teams are pretty good,
might be better on paper, it's a much harder, winning the division is a much harder proposition. Whereas the AL West, not evidently so stacked. So a good position for the Mariners to be in. An unfortunate bit of news for the Mariners. They announced that Logan Evans underwent Tommy John surgery that will sideline him for the entire 2026 campaign. Evans made 15 starts as a rookie last season, highlighted by throwing a career-high 8 innings in a 9-1 win over the Nationals in May. Evans went on IL with elbow inflammation in August, did return to start at AAA during his rehab assignment, pitched 1 game out of the bullpen during the final regular season series against the Dodgers, but then experienced issues bouncing back from his throwing sessions this offseason, Hollander told Ryan Divish. and had to go under the knife. The Mariners still have Emerson Hancock as the sixth starter, also signed Dane Dunning, who pitched exclusively in relief last season, was primarily a starter with the Rangers in previous years. So
another bold prediction I remember. We know who's waiting in the wings.
Kate Anderson.
Yes.
Jonathan Diaz also cleared waivers cleared waivers.
Jonathan Diaz. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
When the Mariners designated him for assignment, so he'll still be at AAA as well, in all likelihood.
I think it's bullshit that human beings have to have arms and that those arms can get injured. Personally,
I like the arms. The degree of injury of them, not as much.
Staunchly pro arm.
Yeah,
All right, let's get into the roundup. People have been waiting. It's our 500th episode. What are we going to do if we're not talking about
there hasn't
the
been 500 roundups because the Sounders were like not a roundup. They were like a core piece of the podcast.
I know it is actually. I guess maybe we could nostalgize about the podcast.
The Mariners.
The Mariners completely replaced. Like they were a team I couldn't even told you probably what they were doing, or it was like a novelty that I would tell you like what they were doing.
The first time we talked about them on the podcast was when they signed Robinson Cano during the Chris Peterson.
We had never spoken about the Mariners. Well, I guess it was the off season.
I mean, we'd spoken many times historically about the Mariners. You make it sound like
on the podcast.
We were unaware. You're right. Only our podcast conversations count.
That is true. Nothing else is canon. We were there in 1995, Game 5. Didn't speak a word. We viewed and emoted.
Wordlessly took the photo. We posted that photo, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, we posted the photo. Jan was just a big Mariners fan.
Yeah, loved those Mariners. Couldn't get enough. Seattle Kraken brought a 4-game winning streak into their SoCal back-to-back to close out pre-Olympic break play. Alas, that winning streak is in jeopardy as we record. The Kraken are down 2-0 after 2 periods at Anaheim. We'll have to mount a comeback. But 3 of those 4 wins have come by multiple goals. Like the Kraken have legitimately played quite well lately. Is it time where we do our look at where they are in the advanced stats and find out that they're still not good? They're third in the Pacific Division.
Whoa. Slow your roll there. The Kraken are not far off from okay.
Corsi, the Kraken are 31st. Fenwick, the Kraken are 31st. It is truly uncanny their ability to win games, score a lot more goals than their opposition.
I told you not to look at those things.
Not have any shot advantages. They come in tonight tied for 3rd in the Pacific Division in points, putting them in a playoff spot. But alas, they are tied with said Anaheim Ducks, so the Ducks would jump them with a win tonight. And then 1 point.
Hello.
1 point ahead of the Kings. So if they lose both of these games in the back-to-back, they would be out of the playoff picture heading into the Olympic break.
That -4 from Vic Krejci.
Blazers legend. Was Vic Krejci a player to watch? Well, that's a great question.
No one knows.
Someday
Number 27 is hanging in the rafters, though.
Someday we got to do a full players to watch breakdown.
You know Caleb Love is up there, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, we've retired that number already.
Luke was just there to see it.
Yeah, to see the number retirement.
Seattle Sounders news. Before Monday night's European transfer deadline, the Sounders completed a move sending Obed Vargas to Atletico Madrid for $3 million plus incentives and a 25% sell-on fee. Is reported by Sounder Hart in terms of the breakdowns of the financials. That $3 million fee is the most MLS teams can convert into general allocation money to spend on the roster per year. So anything above that would have just gone as cash to the Sounders, basically, which has its uses but not as important. This was a case where Vargas, by waiting on this transfer until the final year of his contract and threatening to potentially just change teams on a free transfer after this MLS season, after rejecting extension offers from the Sounders, was able to pick his destination. Atletico Madrid was his favorite team, and new teammate Antoine Griezmann, his favorite player growing up. So this is a really cool full circle story, especially
the age differences there between those two.
I mean, Griezmann's got to be in his mid-30s, and Obed Vargas is still like 20.
Oh, he's 20. Okay. I didn't realize how young Obed Vargas
He's been playing for the Sounders for a long time, but he started when he was 15. So he still can't legally drink
14
in the
years
US.
younger.
Yeah. That's definitely like you grew up watching them. That's very fair. So I think this, kind of worked out well for all sides. It's fascinating because I mean, Atletico Madrid is a big team. There was some talk about him maybe going on loan. There was some talk about him staying on loan with the Sounders this season, which seemed like an ideal outcome. And then some talk about him going on loan elsewhere in La Liga. But for now, he is going to be part of the first team roster for Atletico Madrid the rest of the way. I don't know where they are in the La Liga standings at the moment, but perennial fixtures in the top four and they are in fact third behind Barcelona and Real Madrid at the moment, as you would expect. So this is pretty cool.
Kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we wish him the best of luck. And, obviously there is something at stake for the Sounders for him to continue to play well because of that sell-on fee, which is, definitely on the high side. So
I would be very surprised if he was getting first team minutes with Atletico.
Right now? Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. That's why there was the loan talk. So Sounders continue their preseason training in Marbella. Are going to play a couple of friendlies coming up this weekend before coming back to Seattle and getting started for the MLS and CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's February. A young man's thoughts turn to soccer, inevitably. All right, UW basketball, starting with the women who saw their 5-game losing streak come to an end Sunday at home against Illinois. Disappointing outcome there. They were down 11 after 3 quarters, got as close as 6. Felt like there was maybe something happening, but they couldn't reel in the Illini as that winning streak was snapped. They gave up 14 offensive rebounds, and it was kind of interesting. Center Yulia Grabovskaya, their best rebounder, played just 6 minutes in this game. Didn't really get any explanation for why that is, because that's sort of how UW women's basketball is covered. And those offensive rebounds made the difference as UW shot 54% to Illinois' 45% in this game. Avery Howell and Savia Sellers had 17 points apiece, while Bryn McGoy had 12 and 3 blocks off the bench, playing a lot of center in place of Grabovskaya. Huskies, despite this loss, having won at Maryland earlier in the week, still moved up a spot to number 24 in the AP poll, so that's an encouraging sign. It's a big stretch here coming for the Huskies with a pair of top 10 matchups in their next 3 games before we next record a full podcast. They'll start at home against Ohio State, which is 20-3 with a 9-2 Big Ten record, but ranked behind the Huskies, intriguingly, on Bart Torvik. 2 of those 3 losses have been lopsided. They lost by 32 at UConn and 21 at Iowa, but they've beaten 5 top 26 opponents, including Nebraska by 21 at home on Sunday, led by sophomore guard Jeloni Cambridge. So a good matchup between her and Savia Sellers. This would be a huge one for the Huskies to get. And, statistically, they should be the favorite in this one at home.
All right. That'd be a big one.
Then, given the rest of the schedule, an important game Wednesday at Wisconsin, or not Wednesday, an important game Sunday at Wisconsin, which is 5 and 6 in Big Ten play.
Everybody's going to be watching.
One they got to get. And it's earlier in the day, I'm sure. But yes, the Big Ten and Pac-12 love scheduling games on Super Bowl Sunday. They do have a couple of wins against top 25 teams, Oregon, Nebraska, both close wins at home last month. So definitely a very losable game for the Huskies, but one they're really going to need to get because they finish up that Midwest swing Wednesday at number 10 Iowa, which started 9-0 against Big Ten opponents before losing both games in LA during their road trip last weekend. They're undefeated at home with wins over 4 top 27 foes. Senior post Hannah Stolke, the most notable holdover from the Caitlin Clark era, and an efficient post scorer. They're coached by longtime assistant Jane Jensen, who replaced head coach Lisa Bluder when Bluder retired after Clark went to the WNBA. So, still some familiarity to when Iowa was the toast of women's basketball, but obviously not a team quite that good at this point. Still, though, a legit Final Four contender. Or UW men's basketball. I guess we have not recorded. I thought we had since they lost Thursday at Illinois 75-66, only briefly trailing by more than double digits in what was a 9-point loss. Zoom Diallo had his first career double-double with 12 points, 10 assists with 3 boards.
I believe they covered the spread. I believe they covered the spread in this one. It took a little bit of work late. They were hovering right around it, but
Hannah Steinbach had 15 points and 12 boards, but Husky shot just 6 of 23 on threes, which is a tough way to pull an upset.
It was neither. You watched this game, right?
I had it as the second screen.
It was neither a feel good nor a feel bad loss. It was just a loss.
It was a feel fine.
I will say I complained last week on Hannes, not complained, but I was a little bit critical about Hannes last week and his ability to get to the line, finish. And I think Hannes in these last couple of weeks actually has looked significantly better. Like these two games that they played against Illinois and Northwestern, it was a little bit like, oh, he's figuring it out just a little bit. Obviously, the refs are an issue in college, and it's something that the NBA is going to be less of an issue to factor in because sometimes you might just have a terrible call called on you, and there's kind of nothing you could do about it in college. But I do think he did a better job of almost every single bit that I was kind of like, Hannes needs to get better at these things. And it showed in those games. And it was part of the reason that they played fine against Illinois. They played fine enough and dominated the Northwestern game.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. On Saturday, the schedule finally broke. They went at Northwestern, went on a 17-2 run across halftime to open up a 23-point lead. Wildcats did make things interesting, cutting the deficit to 8 midway through the second half, but never got any closer as Diallo and Wesley Yates made big key plays down the stretch. Both scored 20 points, as did Steinbach, who added 14 boards and made a career-high 3 triples. And Frank Kepnang, who may have a year of eligibility remaining, thanks to LVK on the Discord for pointing out that Danny Sprinkle referred to him as a junior on a recent coaches show, added 6 blocks in this one. So whether he's got he comes back or not, it's exciting to see Frank Kepnang playing
He's
like
just
this.
traversing the meadow of eligibility right now.
Oh, wow. Well done. Yeah, this was a fun game to watch, I would say.
I would agree.
In part because it was a men's college basketball game that took less than 2 hours.
Yeah, no, it wasn't particularly ugly. I thought they played really well across the board. That run that they had at halftime, we were leaving a Mateo's basketball game, and I was kind of like wanting it to be over by the time we left. And by the time we left, they were up by a comfortable amount that I was kind of like, I don't even need to pay attention to these last like 3 minutes.
Yep.
So, I mean, Wesley Yates being there it's what we expected this team to be at the beginning of the year. Right. And how Wesley Yates has played. He looks healthy. The whole team looks so much healthier. We're a little bit less consumed by injuries all the time. There's less moments of like, oh, they're in, or who's that? You know, I think Danny Sprinkle has finally been able to sort of settle on a rotation. And having a Nosovich back, having Wesley Yates back, it's a little bit like this is a full-blown competent Big Ten basketball team right now.
Without question. I mean, Wesley Yates made 5 threes. He's not going to do that every night, but what a game changer for the Huskies to have that kind of shooting. He's up to 37% now on the season, which is probably, I think, what about you reasonably could have expected from him coming into the year. Huskies held Northwestern to 45% shooting.
And they were not favored in this game, right? I don't know if Ken Palm favored them.
I think it was pretty close to a toss-up. Let me see here.
This was a good win.
Yeah, Northwestern was a very slight favorite in this one.
So going to their house where they were a favorite both by the spread and by Ken Palm, and to have won it comfortably is the kind of win a tournament team has.
Yeah, I mean, they are now getting mentioned as they're not quite on the bubble, but they're on the bubble of the bubble, which is pretty wild for a team that is 12-10 on the season. But as they mentioned on the broadcast, as we've highlighted before, you look at that last 3, 4, 5, 7 games of the Big Ten regular season, they are favored on Ken Palm in all of them. They're not overwhelming favorites in the vast majority of them. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of losable games in there, but especially if they can come away with one of the next 2, then they've got a real chance of making things interesting.
A guaranteed loss left on the schedule.
No. And there's been a lot.
Even Wisconsin. You know, at Illinois it was pretty much a guaranteed loss. I don't know if I necessarily thought that the 2 Michigans were, and maybe if they're healthy, they wouldn't have been, but the timing injury-wise and schedule-wise, the way that it broke, I think if the schedule is reversed, I mean, it's not great to limp in the NCAA tournament, but if you could take your health that you have right now into those games, I think they probably play out. You probably pick off at least one.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and they have a chance to move up reasonably high in the Big Ten standings going into the tournament.
So do they need a signature win right now, or like?
I think so.
What is Wisconsin? Is Iowa? What is a signature win, or does it have to happen in the Big Ten tournament?
I think Iowa could be a signature win. I don't think Wisconsin would get there. I mean, Iowa's, you know, they're not ranked, but Ken Palm, the advanced metrics really like them if we want to transition into previewing what's upcoming. They have 5 losses on the season, 4 of those are 2 top 10 teams in Ken Palm.
I mean, why do they even do the fucking rankings? Like, what is the point of doing these rankings at this point? The committee uses Ken Palm.
Tradition. I mean,
why can these people not just fucking type in kenpalm.com and look at a ranking? It's absurd how
I mean, there are situations where, for example,
in the Big Ten and have this happen in basketball and football. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's less clear what the explanation is in basketball. And I do think probably there's some overrated Big Ten teams, I'm sure, in basketball. I haven't looked closely at it, but I mean, Nebraska would be the one in Ken Palm that Ken Palm tells you is overrated, where they've now lost 2 in a row because
there's 9 games left. I don't know what you're saying, 7.
But I'm saying the final 7 are the games in which they're favored in all of them.
Oh, because Iowa and UCLA, they're not favored.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
So you look at it in Ken Palm and you see a lot of W's there. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean they obviously automatically translate to wins, but it's why Ken Palm has them finish on average 10-10.
Is there a number of wins that you think gets them in, even if it's last 4 in?
I think they probably have to get to 20. So that would mean
total wins.
Yeah. So that would mean winning 8 more games out of the 9 left in the regular season and in the conference tournament.
That's pretty steep.
It's doable, but it's going to be hard.
Does 6-3 get there?
Well, I mean, if they go 6-3, that's Ken Palm's average outcome. They'd need 2 wins in the Big Ten tournament to get to 20.
Okay.
So I think that's in the ballpark.
Does it matter? Because basically, let's say that they go 6-3. Does it matter which of those games they win? Because you could have good wins, but then you would have bad losses also.
I agree with you that they probably need a signature win. I mean, their best win of the season right now is at USC, which is an A game. At Northwestern is as well. But, it's not, these are not necessarily tournament teams that they're beating. I mean, USC is another bubble team, so I guess it's useful from that standpoint. But, you probably want to show at some point that you can beat a tournament team. Yeah. And they don't have a ton of chances left to do that before the NCAA tournament. So that's why these next 2 are so important.
Okay. Tell us about Iowa.
So Ben McCollum is their coach. He moved up from Division III, I want to say Southwest Missouri, to
now. Did
Missouri.
You discover him too?
I did not discover him. I think Missouri State discovered him. So he moved up to Missouri State last year, then to Iowa this year, which is this kind of fascinating 3-year run. And they have won at all of these places. I'm sorry, if I say Missouri State, it was Drake where he won last year, and won a game in the NCAA tournament. The key common denominator is brought with him Bennett Sturtz, who had no meaningful stats before he turned up at Drake last season, but immediately jumped off the page in the projections is someone who was an NBA caliber player. He's shooting this season against Big Ten competition, 59% on 2s, 39% on 3s, also an extremely sure-handed ball handler, and a driving force in this extremely slow-paced style. They're 342 in the country in adjusted tempo, 341 in
That's
average.
That's why Luka wants to go. This is such a Big Ten basketball player, Bennett Sturtz.
Except the fascinating thing about him, the Brendan Donovan of basketball players, is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah. The grit is oozing out of his photo right now.
The fascinating thing about him, besides the offensive part of it, is he also got a monster steal rate. Is part of why the stats like him as much as they do. And so
high motor type of player. Good kid, coach's kid. Actually, I don't know if you knew that.
Iowa is top 10 in the country in both 2-point percentage and opponent non-steal turnovers, which
their whole roster is coaches' kids.
Enforcing turnovers in general defensively. So that's an interesting combination that makes them very difficult to play against. You've got to be super efficient with your possessions, knowing how efficient they're going to be with theirs and how few of them they're going to be in a game. So, I mean, the interesting thing about this is they've only lost to a team in UW's range or lower once all season, and that was a pretty shocking loss at Minnesota early in January.
Just wait till they come to Heck Edmondson Pavilion and see me and Luca and Marco and Mateo being loud in the very last row.
You got to get
as
Tay to be
far
louder.
as far away as we can be.
Really? They have sold that many tickets for this game?
No, that's just where we're gonna sit.
Oh, okay. I see.
The tickets were quite cheap, but we're gonna be sitting literally wherever, like as far as you can humanly be away. That's how far we're gonna be, and that's how loud we're gonna be.
All right, Saturday, the Huskies get their first rematch of Big Ten play at UCLA, a team that they lost to 82-80 at home when a furious comeback in December fell just short.
Do you think there are Iowa fans in Seattle?
There's got to be some.
We'll find out next year, but
you'll probably find out tomorrow. But yes, then
like,
you'll find out more next year.
You'll probably find out tomorrow. But like Michigan fans, not surprised. Michigan fans are everywhere.
Yeah, Iowa's not that big of a university and probably not as high of an overlap with the tech jobs that would draw people out there. UCLA 7-4 in Big Ten play. They are playing Tuesday night against Rutgers at home. They already have finished that and will likely get a victory, I would say. Yes, they beat Rutgers by 32. So they are now 8-4 in conference play. That's despite dropping a heartbreaker to Indiana in double overtime on Saturday. Tri-Cities native Tyler Bilodeau played well in Big Ten play, shooting 59% on twos, 39% on threes. The Bruins have been without Sky Clark due to injury, which is notable because he had 25 points when these two teams played at Hackett earlier this season. So he made 6 3-pointers. So the Bruins will miss his athletic presence on the perimeter in this one, assuming he's not able to come back.
They've sold more tickets for Iowa than you would guess.
Okay.
I mean, there's still like entire sections that are wide open, and the ticket, I was looking on like official Husky basketball tickets to see how much they were, but on the resale market, they're cheaper. They are $11.
Yeah, Sky Clark dealing with a hamstring injury that has sidelined him right now. All right, the last game of the stretch and the first game of that 7-game stretch that we're talking about where the Huskies are favored in all of them comes next Wednesday against Penn State at Hackett. And this is one the Huskies have to get. Penn State was 0-10 in Big Ten play before beating Minnesota by 2 on Sunday. Their defensive numbers are just atrocious. Overall, they are 360th in the country in opponent EFG. In conference play, where they've been outscored by nearly 20 points per 100 possessions and are giving up 127 points per 100 possessions. Opponents are shooting 63% on twos and 41% on threes. They rank 362nd nationally in blocks per game. So this is a time for Zoom Diallo and Anna Steinbach to get to the rim over and over again and beat up on Penn State and get a win here. All right, one last UW team to check on. Would you believe that softball season is starting?
No way.
Huskies are ranked at number 25 in the opening poll. Will play in the UTSA Invitational in San Antonio against some pretty stiff competition. Big Ten foe Nebraska is ranked number 9 preseason, as well as number 2 overall Texas, and the host UTSA Roadrunners, who I wish them good luck. So Alexis DeBoer back for her second season on Montlake. We'll excited to see how this goes.
Wow.
With that, we should probably talk about the Super Bowl.
Buying Husky basketball tickets right now. That's kind of my Super Bowl.
For which game?
For Iowa.
Oh, you hadn't actually purchased the tickets previously.
No, I'm buying them right now.
Oh, that's what you use the roundup for, obviously.
Yeah, this is an essential part of 500 episodes of Peltoncast, is you talking about an event and then me saying I'm going to buy tickets for it and then doing it while we podcast and not listening to the roundup.
Given that you started the podcast by saying that you were going to be at the game, I assumed that you had previously bought tickets.
Well, I kind of figured that these tickets that are $11 would still be around. I was waiting until I had some downtime to buy them.
This is why we can't record in person anymore, because you would never get any work done. All right, let's get through the Seahawks news
Double
first.
To pay, confirm with passcode.
Okay. So this, I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere, but the timing was a little bit surprising. My colleagues.
Does here Bennett Sturts retire, bitch?
Not before he can be on a players to watch list. My colleagues Brady Henderson and Seth Wickersham reported that the Seahawks will go for sale after the Super Bowl. This is something that, again, it's totally surprising because we knew that it was going to happen at some point per the requirements of the Allen Trust after Paul Allen's passing in 2018. Just didn't know when, and regularly. But the fact that the Portland Trail Blazers went for sale last summer, they're currently working towards finalizing a deal with Tom Dundon to take over your Blazers. Did suggest this was probably going to happen at some point. And then there was an interesting piece in the weekend from the Wall Street Journal, which described the Allen Trust ownership as, quote, under siege, which is probably not a very good action movie, and reported that the team had been...
you stopped yourself right
I'm not
there.
saying under siege itself. I'm saying a movie about the Seahawks ownership being under siege would not be that dramatic.
Because I watched Under Siege in this last year, and it is a great action movie.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends who we're casting in the roles of Jody Allen and Burt Coldy.
Well, who is the guy from the Superman movie this summer? I know exactly who will cast him as.
The villain, you're saying?
Yeah.
Who are you casting him as?
Who do you think?
Reported that the team had been fined $5 million for
Nicholas Hoult. No, he was really good in it. Very creepy.
He was outstanding.
Yeah. Had a particular billionaire-like feel of a particular one.
I see. I see what you're saying. I don't think that particular billionaire is going to be involved in the real life movie, but I guess we'll say. Reported that's where I was not following along with you. Reported that the Wall Street Journal also reported that the team had been fined $5 million for non-compliance with NFL ownership rules, which sort of stipulate that you want a clear owner rather than a trust and an acting governor. Then League Commissioner Roger Goodell described the reported report of the fine. The report of the fine is, quote, not true at his Super Bowl media availability. So who knows what to make of all that.
Lex Luthor is considered to be one of the favorites to purchase the team. He's worth $263 billion.
Do you have any general thoughts on this?
No, it's the fucking Super Bowl. I don't care.
That's fair.
It is not. Maybe as far as billionaires go, Paul Allen was not bad.
I think certainly in terms of the NFL ownership portion of, just hiring competent professionals and letting them do their jobs, the Seahawks have been extraordinarily well run over the last 2 decades. And, first Paul Allen and then the Allen Trust under Jody Allen and Burt Coldy's stewardship deserve a lot of credit for that.
I mean, we'll see how much things change. We'll see when this actually happens. But it's kind of just like, let's just enjoy the Super Bowl right now. Same with the Klint Kubiak news. We could talk about it. Sure. I don't care.
Klint Kubiak has reportedly agreed to become the Las Vegas Raiders coach, a deal that can't become final until after the Super Bowl. He interviewed with both the Raiders and the Cardinals over the weekend, which was, before the team left for the Super Bowl in Santa Clara. First off, congrats to Klint Kubiak. Assuming this is accurate. And second, it's fascinating that the Raiders are going back to the Seahawks well here.
Oh yeah, they liked what they saw
last time.
I don't care about this, but I will say, I am nonplussed about it at all. I have been. It's like one of those things where like I will just not give credit to somebody completely, and I'm like, this is Mike Macdonald's team. This is like Mike Macdonald's defense is what is the reason that we are in the Super Bowl. I'll give John Schneider a lot of credit. I think there are other offensive coordinators who could have offensive coordinated this offense and gotten the Seahawks to the Super Bowl. I do not believe that is the same with head coaching and defensive coordinating.
I would agree with that, certainly. Yeah, I mean, that's why Mike Macdonald was the head coach, and they didn't hire an offensive-minded head coach, knowing that, this sort of scenario was a possibility where, if you find that right coordinator, well, it's probably not going to be a long amount of time before they become a head coach. And that's, Pete Carroll went forever about how like it's good because then it allows you to go out and hire good offensive coordinators in the future because they know that they're going to get an opportunity based on working for you.
This is the Nick Saban thing, though. The Seahawks got too far. They got a little too far in the playoffs to hire another offensive coordinator, to hire the best of the offensive coordinators.
That is definitely true. So they better win the whole fucking thing while they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about, possible candidates down the road. whether there's some internal candidates or, the Seahawks try to find someone else generally from the Shanahan-McVay tree. It is an amusing question whether if they hire Clint Kubiak's brother, whether that technically counts as a promotion because he would be calling plays here and just not in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan. Although the playoff match, the two matchups between the Seahawks and 49ers recently were not the most ringing endorsements of the Shanahan offense, I would say. One bit of Seahawks injury news: they activated special teamer Chaz Surratt from IR and placed tackle Amari Kite on the injured reserve list. Kite had been dealing with, I think, a knee injury coming out of his key role down the stretch against the Niners in the second round of the divisional round of the playoffs. But Charles Cross seems healthy. Josh Jones seems like he's going to be able to go for the Super Bowl, and the Seahawks should be in good shape at left tackle.
All right, let's talk prop bets. Come on.
Well, we got one more. Drake May's shoulder.
I do have a perspective on this.
Okay. He told reporters he, quote, turned a corner and threw normally on Monday after being listed as a limited participant in the Patriots practice last week. May also dealt with an illness last Friday that affected his availability.
No. I think human beings should have arms, and those arms should be able to be injured. I think it's a great thing that human beings have. No, not actually. I don't care. But actually, my perspective on this, it's so interesting. I thought about it a lot. Remember when Sam Darnold was injured, the oblique, heading into the Niners game? And I said, it'll either matter or it won't. And that is the exact same perspective that I actually have about this Drake May injury. So kind of shocking that both of those injuries I would have the same perspective on. But it'll either matter or it won't. Same with the oblique going into this game. I can tell you it'll either matter or it won't.
Well, you can't get that analysis anywhere else. Yes. Exclusive 500 episodes.
Look, you know what? Some places might tell you that it will matter or it won't matter. Nowhere is telling you that it might matter or it might not.
Well, you know what might matter and might not? Us making imaginary prop bet picks.
I think that actually might not. I think that confidently might not.
Gives us something to keep score.
Did you put in your bets as like bets on the side? You were using did I say BetMGM? FanDuel is what I used. Did you also use FanDuel?
No, you should have been using DraftKings, the official partner of ESPN. So
is that what you used?
Yes.
Wow.
Again, DraftKings, the official partner of ESPN.
Okay, so you use DraftKings for these. So we're gonna we may have slightly different odds. Did you put in the bets though?
In the system? The files are in the computer? No, I just wrote them down in my notes.
Do you have what the bets will total?
Like if I win all of them, or do I? Yeah. Are you saying do I have the odds?
Well, both, I guess.
No, I do not have that information.
Well, for the $100, because basically we started, I was like, let's do $100 budget. And I guess you could have put $100 on one single bet and been like, that's it. Doesn't seem very fun to me. I mean, it could
put it all on 00. And
you could have taken any dollar amount, right? The $100 could be $1,000, could be whatever.
Correct.
Not $1, probably. I don't think they take those. But and so started with $100 budget. And I basically was like, I have mostly $5 bets because I just wanted to put in a ton of them. And then I do have a couple that I feel stronger about, or there's better odds, where they're $10 bets. All told, if every single bet won, which would be difficult because some of them conflict with each other. I don't know how many MVPs the Super Bowl is going to have. Probably not 3 or 4. It would equal $1,902.45.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think mine is a lot because I did put one that's $10 on a 9,000 plus 9,000 one.
Okay.
So that would pay out 900 all by itself.
I'm guessing that might be one that I have at 10,000.
Okay,
is it
great.
Where do we want to start this though? Because we could go through and do sort of like I ended up not doing overall team bet. I was looking at Seahawks covering the spread plus the over, and then I couldn't find it anymore, and so I didn't. But even still, like the odds on the team bets are, I think if you're not doing larger bets, like the Seahawks are minus 112 to cover the spread. And then even with the over, it's like a slight plus odds. But most of what I was going for was stuff. This shit's paying out.
Mine total 1,250, I think, if I hit everything.
Pathetic. 2025 Mariners like. Okay. Well, so if you want to talk to somebody who has bets who have grit, can I just rattle through? So I guess I to me, doing this sort of requires you to think about how the game is going to play out.
Without
right?
question.
And a few of the things that I envisioned are, and I'm kind of like picturing how this goes in my head, which is kind of funny because it's a football game. I don't know who's going to win the coin toss. I don't know anything at all.
I can see the blue Kool-Aid or Gatorade being poured on.
Blue, you wouldn't pick orange. No, I did not have any Gatorade bets, but I was like, the Seahawks are going.
That national anthem going over.
They're going to win the coin toss.
Okay.
They're going to kick off to the Patriots, who will go 3-and-out. And then the Seahawks are coming down and scoring a touchdown with Kenneth Walker Jr.
Well, hopefully it's with Ken Walker the third.
Sorry, Kenneth Walker the third.
So which of those do you have bets on?
So a couple of those I was looking at, and basically like first touchdown scored. There's a couple of different ones. So Kenneth Walker, there's like anytime touchdown, or there's the first points scored in the game. So this is not just first touchdown of the game. This means there can't be field goals beforehand. This has to be the first
safeties.
Points or safeties. This has to be the first point scored in the game. And it's really the best odds that you could get. If you think, as I do, that this is going to be the circumstance, these are the absolute best odds that I could find for it. So first player to record a point was Kenneth Walker at plus 650.
Okay, I have a competing prop bet.
Wow.
$5 on Seahawks first drive results in a made field goal plus 412.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Some other ones that I thought about. I'm just going to go through some of the ones that I wrote down because I didn't necessarily pick all these. Both teams to record a fourth down conversion was plus 245.
Well, that's pretty good because I took Seahawks to record a fourth down conversion at plus 160.
It just, it would surprise me so much if both teams didn't have a fourth down conversion in this game. I mean, it can happen, obviously, and there's a scenario where they don't. It was funny. So I listened to Bill and Cousin Sal today, and it's almost like listening to this podcast in reverse because Simmons is purely looking at it from the Patriots perspective.
Of course.
And I basically did not make a single bet that was Patriots related. And like, he's talking about like Marcus Spears and stuff. And I'm like, have fun with that, dog. Cousin Sal did not agree with him, but he was like, AJ Barner is now their short yardage person because Zach Charbonnet is injured. And I was like, you're like kind of right and kind of wrong in this, but they were doing the tush push with AJ Barner beforehand. I don't think that the offense changed marginally. And that's why I kind of settled on K9 as the first score. I went back and looked at, this wasn't necessarily the first score of the game, but the first Seahawks score of the game. It was Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker in the Rams game, the Niners game, the Panthers game, and the previous Rams game. So
that's
quite
interesting.
a few of those.
I have a different player for the Seahawks first touchdown.
Who do you have for that?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
The money wasn't great on JSN.
Plus 550.
Okay, that's not terrible.
I put 10 on that.
Is that Seahawks first touchdown or first touchdown for anybody?
Seahawks first. I think that's first touchdown for anyone.
Okay, JSN was somebody who I also felt pretty good about in the game. But I was also kind of trying to imagine, what is the Patriots' strategy going to be in this game? And I think they are going to go out of their way to, number one, try to not let Rashid Shaheed score a touchdown on a kickoff. Like, the stuff that has been very public about the Seahawks. I mean, I can't bet no. I just don't think he's going to score one. And I think that...
I mean, there is a way to bet on this, right?
To bet a no?
The way to bet is the number of touchbacks.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a combination of whether they're going to kick to Rashid Shaheed and also how many kickoffs.
Yeah, you have to expect the Patriots to get quite a few kickoffs with that.
I believe the line was 3.5 for that.
That seems a little bit too rich. What's the plus money on it? Do you know?
I mean, it's because it's a line. It's close to even.
It's close to even. I don't think that's good money. But I also think the Patriots are going to go out of their way to try to not let JSN gain a ton of yards against them. I think they're going to agree. I think they're going to be like, and this is just trying to imagine how they're going to approach it. they're going to try to shut down JSN, and I think they're going to try to not let special teams beat them. Those are the two things. I think they're going to be like, run the ball against us, please. Cooper Kupp beat us, and other players. However, at plus 650,
it's 3.5 total touchbacks in the game, although the Seahawks rarely attempt touchbacks.
At plus 650, JSN to score 2 touchdowns, because this might not be a ton of yardage, but I was looking at JSN MVP, and JSN MVP is 550. JSN to score 2 touchdowns is 650, and I'm like, if he scores 2 touchdowns, like his chances of being MVP are probably quite a bit higher. But I would just take the better odds there. He's not going to be MVP without scoring 2 touchdowns. So I threw down $10 on JSN. That was like one of the larger bets, as sort of one of the larger money ones. The other stuff that I considered, aside from the Kenneth Walker, I didn't know yardage stuff at all, because I'm like, I have almost no perspective about Ken Walker, like the amount of yardage. I have one yardage thing as relates to JSN, but I have no rushing yardage for really either team.
I have one rushing yardage.
What is that?
$5 on Rashid Shaheed over 20 rushing yards at plus 429. So we did it 3 times during 11 games with the Seahawks.
Okay, I've got some good ones related to this. 2 that I picked. So first off, was that what I was saying about JSN of the Patriots being like, we are not letting him beat us. Most receiving yards, JSN versus Stephon Diggs. And the Seahawks are willing to give up yards to receivers. Stephon Diggs is plus 420.
Oh, that's nice.
And so I put $5 down on that. The Shaheed stuff, the Seahawks are going to find a way to get the ball in Rashid Shaheed's hands in this game. Player to have the most yard. This is my favorite bet of any bet that I have. Player to have the most yards after catch from a single reception.
Wow. I don't know if I saw that one.
Well, they might not have had it since you're looking at different places. Plus 2,700, $10 to win 270 for Rashid Shaheed. He's way down on that list. And granted, it also could be that some of his passes are rushes, right?
Right.
If he's catching it. I also went with player to record the longest rush, $5 on Rashid Shaheed to pay out $75 plus 1,500.
I like that one.
So those are kind of the 2 ways that I don't think that the Patriots are going to let Shaheed get involved in the kick return game and in special teams, but I do think the Seahawks are going to find a way to get him on the field.
Well, be on the field, but get him the ball.
Get in the ball.
All right. Do you want me to talk about my perspective on the game?
Yeah.
I think that the Seahawks are not going to pass the ball a lot.
Really?
That is my perspective. And so therefore, I put $10 on Drake May having more passing yards than Sam Darnold, which is a plus 106. So I think the line there was like 8.5 if you were betting it at even odds either way. 8.5 more yards for Darnold. And then my personal favorite, I had to do at least one of the cross-sport NBA props.
Uh-huh.
$10 on Brandon Ingram's points plus rebounds plus assists greater than Sam Darnold pass attempts, which is not good odds. It's minus 125. But to me, I would say this is like a layup, but it's Brandon Ingram. So it's like a mid-range jumper because he averages like 32 combined per game and he's playing the struggling Indiana Pacers on Sunday. So I like my odds there. I don't think you're going to have 30 passings from the Seahawks.
So I actually agree with you. I think they might pass the ball enough, but they're going to come out with the Patriots are going to come out, like you were saying, trying to force the Seahawks to run the ball. And I think that's what they're going to want the Seahawks to do in this game. They think that's where they have the advantage. But also that first drive that I was talking about where, I didn't bet on this. Dang it. I thought I did. There was one that I looked at.
You can't change your imaginary bets now.
No, I'm not going to. First drive, player to catch a pass, AJ Barner plus 210. Can you just picture that in your head?
I can, yes. I looked at some AJ Barner stuff.
The rollout, right? Sam Darnold cuts back, play action. He cuts back 3 levels of receivers. You think those motherfuckers are going to let JSN catch the ball? Absolutely not. There's no chance they let JSN catch the ball. AJ Barner there on that first. They're going to run one of those plays. We've seen it over and over and over again. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to happen. I also looked at a Kenneth Walker longest reception of the game. And something that we've seen, I think that first Rams game, right?
Yeah, I looked up Kenneth Walker receiving yards, but then I concluded one thing about Kenneth Walker's receiving yards.
What?
They almost exclusively came against the Rams.
Yes. They're always that, and I really actually think that the Rams games are so different than most of the games that the Seahawks play all year that it's a little difficult to project out. Like they were a radically different team against the Rams than they were in almost any other game, especially those pair of games.
Yeah.
Okay, I had both teams successful fourth down conversion, $5 to win at plus 250, to win 1250. So you were talking about Drake May in the passing yards, and granted he turned a corner, but that the injury may affect him or it won't. I do think the Seahawks are getting to Drake May in this game.
Okay.
And I ended up not having it just didn't pay out well enough over 3.5 sacks for the Seahawks defense. But just as a wild card, Drake May got hit a lot. Will Josh Dobbs play a snap? $5 to win 40 at plus 800.
Oh, that's a great one. I did not see that one. I instead, this is much lower odds, but I think a likelier chance of winning over 2.5 players to have a pass attempt because there's multiple outs here.
I had the exact same one.
Oh, God. Trick plays. There's backup quarterbacks, and there's also at some point they're going to pull out AJ Barner throwing the ball on the barnyard.
Totally agree. No, and so there was a report. I wish there was a way to capitalize on this a little bit more because the 2.5 passing attempts just doesn't pay out well enough.
Right.
But Cooper Kupp posted a photo on Instagram this week of him throwing a ball. And the Patriots are certainly aware that this happened, right? It's not a big deal, but it's not unintentional. And this led me to believe Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to throw his first pass since his rookie season, or since 2024, which is not his rookie season. There was a completion to DK Metcalf in 2024. The only trick play the Seahawks
he also had in 2024, he was the person who threw the lateral that was essentially a pass.
Yes.
That Ryan Grubb dialed up.
Oh, yeah.
One of the high points of the Ryan Grubb era.
Oh, it was pretty good. The Seahawks also just did not run trick plays this year. They ran one, and Cooper Kupp threw an interception on it in that Texans game that none of us saw.
I saw the game.
But it really led me to believe, I think JSN might have been a high school quarterback because every player was a high school quarterback, if I recall correctly. And I wouldn't be shocked about a play where it seems like maybe they're going to throw it to Darnold, but JSN has like 3 tiers of receivers to throw to.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked about JSN to a few people. Similar to them getting to Drake May, though, I was like, DeMarcus Lawrence record a sack was like plus 110. Leonard Williams to record a sack was like plus 140. Why not both? DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams to combine for 1.75 sacks plus 290.
Okay.
So I threw down $5 on that for $14.50.
JSN did not play quarterback in high school, for the record. He was probably busy playing wide receiver. I was thinking in the same vein, but more esoteric, more pressure from the secondary. $10 on Nicky Emanwari to record a sack at plus 80.
Had the exact same thing as you, plus 640 on FanDuel. Nicky Emanwari, $5 to win 32. I mean, come on, the money is too good there.
And $5 on Devin Witherspoon to record a sack at plus 1160.
The Witherspoon numbers are kind of crazy. I was a little surprised. I didn't do that one. I just did the Nicky Emanwari one, but he blitzes a lot. I think there's a legitimate chance that he records a sack here. A couple of other ones.
He won half a sack during the regular season. Nicky Emanwari had 2.5.
Spoon only had. I think basically they need Spoon in coverage a little bit more than they need Nicky Emanwari, and they can withstand him blitzing. On Drake May, Ernest Jones to record an interception. I considered Kobe Bryant also, because to me, I actually in my head have 2 interceptions in here, one I'll bring up later. And it is Ernest Jones and it's Kobe Bryant pick off Drake May in this game. So
I didn't wager on that, but it'll come back.
One of those balls underneath, $5 for Ernest Jones to win $55.
I don't know how much more you have. I have 3 left.
Okay. A couple of other random ones, and then I want to do MVP stuff because I do have a couple of those.
Okay.
And then I have one fun one at the very end. Jake Bobo to record 1+ receiving yard. Do you have that? Are you
I
nodding?
definitely considered it. I thought about it. I didn't go with it.
I mean, it's $5 to win 925 at plus 185, but like they're getting the ball to Bobo. I also, along those lines, went over 6.5 Seahawks to record a reception, which is basically Holani and Bobo. It's plus 144, $5 to win 720. And then I stared long and hard at Cooper Kupp. I thought about the Cooper Kupp MVP odds. Cooper Kupp is going to be involved in this game. It was like over under plus, it was like 32.5 yards or something like that. And I was like, Coop's getting 32.5 yards. I actually think the Seahawks are going to, I think the Patriots are going to come out trying to get the Seahawks to run. And I do think the Seahawks are going to pass the ball pretty successfully in this game. Like, I think the Seahawks are going to win. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to win comfortably. I think they are going to move the ball comfortably. How about that? And I think they're also going to hit Drake May, but they're going to give up points.
I don't know. I think I probably see it as more of a defensive game than you did. I looked at like the exact final score was that I looked at. One thing I did go for on the score was the quarter square option.
Okay.
And I am taking Seahawks 4, Patriots 6 at plus 1,300.
Okay. It's not like crazy money, but that's pretty good. Cooper Kupp, I was like, anytime touchdown, didn't pay very much. Cooper Kupp, last touchdown score.
Oh.
Again, it's one of those ones where can't you picture it? Cooper Kupp has the touchdown to basically seal the game, puts the Seahawks up 13 or something like that in the fourth quarter. Maybe the Patriots come down and score something, desperation. $5 at plus 1,300 to win 65 for Coop.
Okay.
And then, I want to say that one last. Do you have MVP odds?
I do have an MVP pick.
Oh, you only one.
No,
To me,
you can't. To me, it's like, I'm trying to think what is a good example of this. But
you're trying to pick the exacta. You want the MVP.
I'm going for, it's like when people do the NCAA tournament, like they're like, well, I got to think strategically. Other people are going to take this team. I'm like, no, I'm trying to go 63 for 63 here. That is the only goal is perfection.
Fair enough. I mean,
I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to be perfect.
Fucking nerd behavior over here. This shows you the difference between the two of us. If I can't get a 100% of my bets, I shouldn't even bet at all.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't want to be like, oh, I'm disappointed that this one bet didn't cash because my other bet did cash.
My bets cash $500 and $625.
Fair.
So I'm not going to be that disappointed.
My MVP cash is higher than that.
Okay, hit me with it.
$10 on Ernest Jones IV. Bring
Ernest
back the
Jones.
linebacker MVP.
Wow. Okay, what does it pay out?
That's plus 9,000.
Plus 9,000. Okay. I boldly predicted this. I had to do it. Boldly predicted it in the Peltoncast year in 2025 review. Tank DeMarcus Lawrence, $5 to win MVP, plus 10,000 to win $500.
Love it.
And then staring at me so juicy. Sorry to pick two people for MVP. Devin Witherspoon. Another one where it's like if Spoon gets a pick, picks up a ball that's fumbled and returns it for a touchdown, huge pass breakup. Like there's some ways that Spoon could go win himself this MVP in this game.
Yep.
And plus 12,500, $5 to win $625. Granted, Sam Darnold, if the Seahawks win, or Jackson Smith and Jigba are probably winning MVP. But the numbers for Darnold are just like, you get nothing back. It's not even worth betting. You'd be better off betting some of the Darnold. Even there was like a Darnold versus the field bet that it paid basically the same as Darnold winning.
Well, yeah, those are largely the same bet, right?
I mean, you would expect that it would be.
The point is the field. That's why you're doing that bet, not because of Darnold.
That you would bet the field.
Yes, that's why that one exists.
It pays the same. Okay, so I'm imagining the game. The Seahawks score this touchdown with Cooper Kupp. They go up 13. Patriots drive down and score a touchdown. And I took this out, but I was like, last team to score does not win the game.
That's good.
Patriots are coming down, score a touchdown fast against the Seahawks defense. They get the ball back, similar to the Rams game. 25 seconds left. No timeouts. second-year quarterback in the backfield. Interception thrown with under 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter. A repeat bet of Super Bowl 49 in reverse, $5 to win 32.50 plus 650. It is happening. Tell me this is not happening. Drake May is throwing a pick at the end of this game, or Josh Dobbs is throwing a pick at the end of this game, and the Seahawks are going to seal it.
Well, to your Josh Dobbs point, this is my last one. How many do you have left here?
I have one last after this. My favorite bet.
I hate to be optimistic. You know, it is the most uncomfortable feeling possible in the world for me. But I do think if the Seahawks win this game, which we've agreed they have a 70% chance of winning, and when we all agreed on the same thing with Ben Baldwin, who, by the way, you should listen to that preview if you haven't already. Nothing bad ever happened this year when we bet on that. And you should definitely take our gambling advice because we're definitely good at this and didn't lose all of the money on over-unders. I put $10 down on Seahawks minus 16.5.
Minus 16.5 at what?
Plus 337. Not as huge a number as you would think.
No, I thought about those two, and I was like, the money isn't good enough. The Seahawks are too good.
Why does it have to be close?
My favorite bet, totally unrelated to the Seahawks, because I had to do it to him.
Great.
Player to record 1+ receiving yard. He did it. Hold on, I have to look up some stats here. I believe 0 times this year. Really, the numbers were not good enough to have done what I have done. Finished the season, 1 reception for 8 yards. And I believe that was in the playoffs.
Oh, I know. Okay, now I know. Now that you say it, yes.
1 target, January 4th. Versus the Miami Dolphins. 1 reception for 0 yards. Would not have won this bet. 1 target.
Imagine he catches a pass and you still lose the bet. That is an all-time bad bet.
2 targets on the season, 0 yards. In the playoffs, though, 1 target, 1 reception for 8 yards against the Los Angeles Chargers. Jack Bestover, baby. Back and at it again. With a reception, I saw it. I was like, I shouldn't do this. The money is not even good. It doesn't matter. I'm not actually betting on it. Jack Bestover is the best bet of this Super Bowl. 1 yard, baby. 1 yard.
You know, hopefully at some point I'm going to finish the 500th episode compilation of the clips that highlights from the first 500 episodes. Tell NBA teams not to make any trades on Wednesday if you want this podcast to come out this week.
No way they will.
How could that possibly happen? NBA teams making a trade the day before the deadline. Anyways, this podcast, I actually remembered looking through the clips that there is the first Nostra Tristan moment, but the one that stands out in my memory is you predicting in, I think, the 2014 bold predictions that Jermaine Kearse would score a touchdown in the Super Bowl before the Seahawks. Before then. Was it earlier than that?
Yeah.
Well, the bold predictions for 2014, the Super Bowl took place. Oh, no.
I think I casually said it on a podcast, like one of the first episodes or one of the first 10 episodes.
Well, hopefully I can dig it up. But that to me is like the moment that cemented the Nostra Tristan reputation. And if you get Jack Westover against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl,
the odds of him scoring a touchdown were not that good. Like, it should have been obscene. The odds for Jack Westover scoring a touchdown, it should have been like plus 20,000. He has 2 receptions on the year. He has 1 reception for positive yardage. Granted, I have no idea how many weeks he's been active, Jack Westover, in these games, but
I mean, I think that they're, going on the reverse of the Kevin Malone theory, which is if someone gives you 10,000 to 1 odds on anything, you take it. But now I can't. What was it? If John Mellencamp ever wins an Oscar, I will be one rich dude.
Honestly, it's one of those ones where I'm like, I still wouldn't rule it out. But okay, if I could recap really quick, I just want to run through these, and then do you want to run through yours?
Sure.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Super Bowl MVP, $5 to win 500. Devin Witherspoon, Super Bowl MVP, $5 to win 625. You're mad because I can't get an exacta on it. Both teams have a successful 4th down conversion, $5 to win 1250. Josh Dobbs play a snap, $5 to win $40, over 6.5 receptions from Seahawks players. The George Holani bet, as many are calling it, plus the Jake Bobo bet, maybe, or
so
Elijah Arroyo. $5 to win a cool $7.20. Ken Walker, first player to record a point, $10 to win $65. Rashid Shaheed, player to have the most yards after catch from a single reception, $10 to win $270. Tasty. Rashid Shaheed, $5 player to record longest rush. Rashid Shaheed, $5 to win 75. Jake Bobo, 1 receiving yard, $5 to win 925. Stephon Diggs, most receiving yards versus JSN, $5 to win 21. Cooper Kupp, last touchdown score, $5 to win 65. Ernest Jones to record an interception, the Kevin MVP bet, $5 to win 55. Nick Emanwari to record a sack, $5 to win 32. DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams to combine for 1.75 sacks, $5 to win 14.50. Interception thrown in with under 1 minute to go in the fourth quarter, $5 to win 32.50. JSN, 2 touchdowns, $10 to win 65. And Jack Bestover, they call him Westover in here to be technical, $5 to record 1+ receiving yard to win $13.50.
Truly outstanding. Wow. Okay. My list. $10 on over 2.5 players to have a passing attempt at plus 160. $5 on Rashid Shaheed over 20 rushing yards at plus 429. $10 on Brandon Ingram points plus rebounds plus assists greater than Sam Darnold pass attempts at minus 125. $10 on Seahawks minus 16.5 points at plus 337. $5 on Seahawks first drive results in a made field goal at plus 412. $10 on Nick Emanwari sack at plus 680. $5 on Devin Witherspoon sack at plus 1160. $10 on Drake May more passing yards than Sam Darnold at plus 106. $10 on Seahawks over a fourth down conversion plus 160. $10 Ernest Jones, the fourth MVP at plus 9,000. $10 JSN first TD at plus 550, and $5 on the 4-6 quarter square at plus 1,300.
All right. Well, I hope that we are back next week with a Seahawks victory and us winning something.
I mean, I hope we're back on Sunday with an emergency pod.
Well, that's next week.
Super Bowl. I suppose so. It depends when your definition of the week is. Different cultures have different starting points. I will be watching the game, as we've discussed many times, from rainy Maui, where the forecast calls for a half inch of rain throughout the day on Sunday afternoon. Showers and wind and a high of 76. So it will be a good day to sit inside and record a podcast, I suppose.
All right.
I'm sure my wife will be very excited about it. On that note,
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to 500 episodes.
That's a wrap on Peltoncast D. Drake may retire, bitch. D's nuts. I got nothing else. We don't have to record the after pod talk.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.